UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov. My personal hottest takes of the entire card. Now, I'm going to say it right now. Some of them for you are going to make absolutely no sense, but a few of them are going to be really, really good and make a lot of sense. And I don't even think they should be hot takes at this point. The number one, the first thing I'm going to go into, the start times. Ladies and gentlemen, UFC Abu Dhabi is starting at 3 p.m. That's when the main card starts for me in the United States. If we go and look at where UFC 304 started, their main card was at 10 p.m. and we ended up watching the main event at about 1 a.m. in the morning. I do not want to be staying up that late to watch a UFC fight card because it's going to screw up my sleep for the next few days. UFC Abu Dhabi, I'll be able to watch the prelims at 12 p.m. That's lunchtime. I could go out to eat, go eat some Panda Express, go eat some Chick-fil-A, whatever. And I could watch UFC while I'm driving around at lunchtime, come home, and the fights will still be on at dinner time as well. I finish dinner, boom, Corey Sandhagen, Umar Nurmagomedov is already happened, and there's no need for me to stay up really, really late for the fight card. I think this time makes a lot of sense. The UK fans get a good time as well. The main card for them would start at 8 p.m. for this UFC Abu Dhabi card. They would be watching the main event around that 10, 11 p.m. range, which is not late at all compared to obviously UFC 304 and most other UFC fight cards where a lot of people are watching past midnight. UK fans are screwed every single time. I personally don't like watching at midnight. I'd rather watch while I'm eating dinner. That just makes a heck of a lot of sense. So first and foremost, UFC Abu Dhabi start time is absolutely immaculate. My number two hot take is going to be Corey Sandhagen. I think only loses a round. I think he only loses a round. I think he goes out there, defends 90 to 80% of the takedowns against Umar Nurmagomedov and only loses one round due to obviously getting taken down. But every other round, I think Corey is going to outland Umar Nurmagomedov on the feet. He's going to land more volume. He's got better cardio in the later rounds. He's had experience in those 5-round later portions of the fight where Umar's never been in a main event. He's never fought a ranked opponent. I don't know why this is a hot take. It's just because the betting odds are just so insane. But I think Corey Sandhagen only loses one round to Umar Nurmagomedov in the main event. This is too much, too soon for Umar Nurmagomedov. I don't know why they're giving him this big of a step up. I thought maybe a Marlon Chito Vera would be a way better fight. I mean, Marlon's on the card. Why didn't they just give Umar the fight and do Davis and Figueiredo versus Corey Sandhagen? Would have made sense in my opinion. Next hot take, and this one I think is going to get a few of you guys on my side, and a few of you guys are going to be, that's a horrible, horrible take. Tony Ferguson, win or lose, should not retire. Should not retire after this weekend. Now, I don't know if he has more fights on his UFC deal or not. I have no idea, but I don't think he should retire. I'm going to look back at his last few fights in the UFC. Obviously, a lot of losses, of course. I mean, Paddy Pimblett, Bobby Green, Nate Diaz, Chandler, Dariush Oliveira, and Gaethje. It's a long losing streak right there. But let's be honest here. For everyone saying that they want Tony Ferguson to retire, a big portion of people saying that are saying it because they believe he's taking too much damage, he's getting too old, and things like that. I'm going to say it right now. The only losses in those 7 fights where he actually took damage were the Michael Chandler knockout, for obvious reasons, went out cold, and then the Justin Gaethje 5-round beating. Other than that, Charles Oliveira didn't land much damage on Tony. Beneil Dariush didn't land much damage. Nate Diaz, Bobby Green landed a little bit, and Paddy Pimblett really didn't land a heck of a lot of damage on Tony Ferguson, so it's not like he's deteriorating in the mind and just getting pummeled every single time with strikes. When he is losing recently, it's mainly to grappling fights. I mean, Michael Chiesa, his next fight, grappler. Paddy Pimblett, Nate Diaz, and then Bobby Green used the grappling to win the fight. So if he was going out there and fighting the likes of Gaethje again, fighting the Michael Chandler types that are more strikers in the UFC lightweight division, I'd be full on board with saying Tony should retire after this fight. The UFC keeps giving him grapplers, keeps giving him fights where he's not going to have to take a heck of a lot of damage in the fight, and is more winnable because he is also more of a grappler in his own right with the Darce chokes, with the many submissions he has in his MMA career. So Until the UFC gives Tony another striker, I would say at that point, they give him another striker in the UFC, I think he should retire. I think he should only fight grapplers from now on, and mainly veteran grapplers, not guys like Paddy Pimblett, up and coming and things like that. I think Chiesa is a perfect fight for him. That, I mean, even 2 years from now, I would say Tony should probably take a fight with Chiesa. Why not? So no, Tony Ferguson should not retire after this fight card, win or lose. Until they give him a big striker, a big power puncher, no, don't retire Tony. Next hot take for the card, Nick Diaz was supposed to be on the card, I believe, against Vicente Luque in the co-main event. I mean, I guess my hot take here could be, no, Nick Diaz, Vicente Luque, first off, should not have been the co-main event, but I digress. But my real hot take here is, I'm happy Nick Diaz is not on this card. I did not want to see Nick Diaz, Vicente Luque. I don't know what you guys are thinking. Comment down below your thoughts. I was not interested at all in Nick Diaz, Vicente Luque. I thought, you know, they're giving Vicente Luque a fight, very winnable, and he's just going to go out there and steamroll Nick Diaz in a round or two. Maybe he goes late, but all that's going to happen is Luque is going to get a good highlight, whether it goes to a decision or whether it's a finish, and Nick Diaz is going to eat some damage. That's the difference between Nick Diaz, Luque, and Tony Ferguson Chiesa. I actually like Ferguson continuing to fight because he's fighting a grappler. Nick Diaz was about to get pummeled by a KO type of guy in Vicente Luque, in my opinion. So no, I'm extremely happy Nick Diaz is not on this card. I do not think they should rebook that fight. They should give Nick Diaz Tony Ferguson. They should give Nick Diaz a veteran in this UFC welterweight division instead of feeding him to a ranked fighter off the bat. Makes no sense in my opinion. Now, I kind of touched on it a little bit on why Nick Diaz and Vicente Luque should not be the co-main events. Another hot take, again, it might not even be that hot of a take. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk and Shara Magomedov should not be the co-main event. I don't know what in the world the UFC has going on where they want to push Shara Magomedov this much in the UFC middleweight division when he's this early on into his career. No. I'm going to be straight up with you. This is where the hot take comes into mind. I think Shara should be the feature prelim. I think Shara Magomedov should be the feature prelim. I think the bout order should be Sandhagen or Magomedov. Makes sense. Co-main event, bantamweights, Davis and Figueiredo, Marlon Chito Vera. We got a former title challenger and a former champion. Why are they not in the co-main event? What the heck, Dana White? Tony Ferguson, Michael Chiesa, that's obviously more deserving to be on the main card, so I keep that as right where it is at as the third to last fight on the card. Makes perfect sense. Mackenzie Dern, Lupita Godinez, two ranked women's strawweights right there. Obviously makes sense to be on the main card above Shara Magomedov. And then last but not least, a fight that is on the prelims right now, Alonzo Menifield, Azamat Murzakanov. That should be on the main card. Again, ranked light heavyweights. Why is Shara getting the shot on the main card? I don't know. I think Shara should go to the feature prelim. Alonzo Menifield, Azamat should go to the main card. And Marlon Chito Vera, Davis and Figueiredo should go to that co-main event spot. Because, I mean, win or lose with Corey and Umar, the winner of Figueiredo Marlon could fight against one of those guys. So it starts to build a little bit of a storyline. And the last thing here, if Figueiredo wins, I just kind of talked about it a little bit. Maybe Figueiredo wins. He can fight either Umar or Corey next. Whoever loses that one, I'm going to say Figueiredo's one fight away from a title fight. And I would like a champ versus champ 5-round main event or 5 rounds on a pay-per-view. Figueiredo versus Petr Yan. I don't think there's any other matchup that really makes sense in the UFC bantamweight division. Besides, if Figueiredo is able to win, able to go out there and beat the former title challenger in Marlon Chito Vera, he would be 3-0 in the bantamweight division. He's a former champion, and Petr Yan's also coming off a win. Obviously, the winner of Corey and Umar is probably next to fight for the belt. That'll probably happen beginning of 2025. You also book at the exact same time Figueiredo versus Petr Yan, 5 rounds, like I said, pay-per-view or main events, and you got all those fights kind of coinciding with each other. And if Figueiredo wins that one, he could be looking at a title fight mid-2025 versus, say, Suga beats Merab. Suga fights Corey Sandhagen or Umar. The winner of that one will fight Davis and Figueiredo. That's my plan there for the whole bantamweight division. I have it lined up kind of really well, in my opinion. It might be a hot take again, but those are my hot takes for UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi. Sandhagen or Nurmagomedov. My biggest one has to be the fight times. Those fight times for UFC 304, horrible. But the fight times for this card, absolutely amazing. Make sure to comment down below kind of what you think about all of these hot takes. And of course, if you want to see all the bets that I am making for this UFC fight card, Sandhagen or Nurmagomedov, I got a lot of money lines already. I'm going to be posting my props a little bit later on today, and a few parlays as well. So make sure to go check that link, top link in the description, or that pinned comment down below to see all of the bets that I am making for $1.25 for the entire card. Incredible value. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.